This was a heavyweight matchup between the current scoring leader of the TPBL, Zach Lofton, and former scoring champ, Lasan Kromah. But actually, the Taiwanese players came out huge in this game. Xiao Gao at the end of the second quarter led a big run, and number 57 started the fourth quarter on a 10-0 run by himself. It started out really well with this flare screen for Lasan Kromah, which leads to an alley-oop over the top. Beautiful pass by Gao Jin-Wei. But here they put the pressure, and Mars likes to play fast and gets an easy dunk in transition. The whole first quarter was a back and forth game. Here, off the zoom action, they go for blind pig, but Lofton rejects the screen, and he's too hard to stop one-on-one, gets to the basket for the floater. On the next play, it's a high ball screen for Gao Jin-Wei. He gets a paint touch, kicks it out, and now dominoes. They get an open corner three for Lasan Kromah, who won't miss with that much space. Here they set an off-ball screen to get Lofton some space, and he gets an open catch and shoot three. Off the transition, they push the pace and get an easy layup at the basket. And Mars likes to push the pace whenever they can. Lofton is pretty much the local James Harden here. He puts on the dribble moves and gets to the basket for a layup over the defense. Kromah is trying to show that anything you can do, I can do better. He brings the ball up the court, step back mid-range. And here it's another high ball screen. They show to try to get him to get rid of the ball, but Miller has to leave, and now he's in one-on-one coverage. Step back, best James Harden impression you'll see all year. Because Mars pressures the ball up the court, the Leopards will reply by setting a high ball screen for their superstar, and he can just finish and go all the way at the basket. To end the quarter, they let the center bring the ball up the court. It's a zoom action, which leads to a ball reversal and a blind pig. Here he gets hit by the screen, they put two on the ball, and then the weak side has to help, and it leads to an open corner three. To start the second quarter, they go back to the zoom action once again, but from the other side of the court. This time it's blind pig, but they flip the play, the screen changes angle, and now it leads to an easy mid-range shot. Struggling to contain the Taipei Mars, the Leopards switch to a 2-3 zone, and here Lofton takes a long two. It's contested, so that's a win for the defense. And Miller is just great at grabbing the rebound and leading the transition as a point forward. The Leopards try a blind pig of their own for Lasan Kromah. He has a switch he likes, so he backs up the matchup and drives the defense, gets a paint touch and an open corner three for his teammate. Against the zone, they call 77, which is a double ball screen. Miller gets switched on to Lofton, he likes the matchup and takes it to the basket for two. Notice that Miller and Kromah are up in the zone and Gao Jin-Wei is behind. The idea is to show on the pick and roll to try to contain Lofton, but he acts quickly and gets to the rim. Luckily he gets blocked. Miller gets a transition, he pushes the pace. The defender falls, and they get an easy layup. Here they put two on the ball, but they beat the coverage with a pass to the short roll, which leads to an easy layup. And the Leopards go to a horn set, which flows into a zoom action, and Miller is the screener at the top of the key, and they get an easy layup at the basket. Bringing the ball up, Lofton is going to receive a ghost screen to get Gao Jin-Wei switched on to him. But notice how, although it's a 2-3 zone, Gao Jin-Wei pressures the ball really high up and the teammate plays the gap. Tough shot by Lofton, and the teammate bails him out. This was a key stretch in the game. Gao Jin-Wei is being a pest in the backcourt. He tips it and then dives on the loose ball. That's just incredible hustle. Saves it to Miller, right back to him. They will flow directly into a pick and roll. And Gao Jin-Wei is patient, gets to his spot, and hits the short mid-range. Here they top block Gao Jin-Wei because they're so scared of him, so he's being very smart and uses the defender as a screener, so the pressure works against them in that case. And I just love this play because They fight so hard, it seems like everyone is tagging up, which means that they chase the offensive rebound. And here they're not going to get one, they're not going to get two, but they're actually going to get 3 extra opportunities. And here they have to foul Miller. Early offense, they're going to attack quickly. Gao Jin-Wei takes his guy off the dribble, the kick-out pass to the shooter for 3. They set an off-ball screen to get Gao Jin-Wei the ball, which flows into a 77 double ball screen. And here they show to try to get him to give up the ball, but he's feeling it and jacks up the 3. Probably the play of the game, Gao Jin-Wei with a heads-up play tips it to himself and gets an and 1. Everyone is hyped and the lead is pushed to 6. Off the missed 3, Miller gets the rebound, and it's going to be early offense. High ball screen for Gao Jin-Wei. They go under, so it's an automatic rescreen, and Gao Jin-Wei gets to the rim for 2. The big turning point in this game is when the Leopards switch to a 2-3 zone, and I think it's very interesting the way they play this zone. As you can tell, Miller is the 5, and although he's not big, he is athletic enough to hold that spot. He's high up in the zone here and tips it, which leads to an easy transition layup. Although it's a zone defense, they like to extend pressure in the backcourt with the 2 guards pressuring the ball. Gao Jin-Wei is up high, guarding the ball, and his teammate is behind in the gap to stop the drive. They switch every ball screens, and here they force a tough 3 from the corner, which automatically leads to a transition with an advantage and an easy 3-pointer. The pressure is in the backcourt once again. All 5 players angle their body to face the ball and shrink the floor. This confuses the offense and forces a turnover. Here again, the guard is in front, Gao Jin-Wei plays the gap behind, which makes the zone look almost like a 1-3-1 zone if we're looking at it this way. And here Kromah accidentally fouls the shooter. At the half, the Leopards are on fire from all over the floor and scored almost 70 points, but the Mars are also scoring pretty well. On to the third quarter, the Mars showed that a good way to beat the zone was simply to play at a faster pace before the defense had time to be set. And here Lofton is bringing the ball up the court again. They're going to set a high ball screen. The defender dies on the screen and Miller has to help, but Lofton is too fast. In the half court, it's harder to score against this shape-shifting zone. The guard is in front, Gao Jin-Wei is in the gap, and Kromah and the other wings are up high because there's no one in the corners. The Mars try to play high-low, but they contest the hook shot. And one of the disadvantages of giving up size is that you give up the offensive rebounds and the foul. Kromah does the flyby closeout again, but this time he doesn't foul and the ball goes out of bounds. And here again, they stunt at the ball to make you make mistakes. They force a turnover, and it's just very hard to score on them in the half court. It never goes out of style, but traditionally, a good high-low pass always works against the zone. It's almost the end of the third, and the game is still very close. Here again, the zone gives up an offensive rebound. He relocates to the corner, and that's an open shot for your best shooter. And here is just a 7-point game. They go to 77 action, but Kromah blitzes the play and gets the pick 6 and the Karl Malone dunk. The Taipei Mars got punched in the mouth to start the fourth. Right away, it's an easy layup for Diallo. And here they're going to go to a traditional pick and roll, and it's a floater in the lane. And this number 57 guy going to come off the screen, get to the basket again, and it's way too easy. In early transition, the ball finds him again, and he stampedes dribble right in the middle of the zone for another layup. And putting the nail in the coffin here, he plays the passing lane, goes the other way for an easy layup, and that's a 10-0 run to start the fourth quarter. With about 5 minutes left, the Leopards are going to crush any comeback attempt. They go to a Gao Jin-Wei Diallo pick and roll. They have to help, and that's an easy 3 for the shooter. Still in the zone, they contest the short jump shot, which leads to an offensive rebound, but Diallo is a strong rim protector, and they're just hard to score against in the half court. You really have to share the ball, get the ball to the high post, get another paint touch off the drive to finally get an open shot after the 5 passes possession. And here again, they get a tough floater at the rim, and they fight for the rebound, which leads to a transition opportunity. They get a high ball screen for Gao Jin-Wei, and finally they give it inside to Diallo, who's going to flex on the defense and score off the putback. Trying to make Gao Jin-Wei get off the ball, they double team, but he runs after this pass, gets it back from Diallo, and he's too fast and gets to the rim for 2. Zach Lofton, you can tell he's getting frustrated. He's going to try to do it himself, forces a tough floater against 2 defenders, and then he's had enough. He fouls Kromah, which is going to give them 2 free throws and the ball. And here, it's the dagger to end the game. Gao Jin-Wei, wide open shot. And this game really shows here once again why the Leopards are the best team in Taiwan. Of course, we have great players, but also their coach is very creative with this zone defense they are playing, which allows them to take away the 3, take away the shots at the rim, and force difficult long 2s, which can lead to transitions for their players and allow them to play their games. Let me know what you think in the comment section.